Well, hello, Joe.
Hi, Charles. How are you today?
I'm great, my love. How are you?
Good, good. I'm great. And I hear that it's very hot down there.
Hot, steamy, Joe. 41 degrees Celsius today and Friday. So we're in the middle of our heat wave, darling. So it's
Oh,
interesting.
yes.
What's it
Yes,
like there?
well, it's probably 1,000% humidity with only a top of 29 or 28 today. So it's a pretty
Okay.
good day today. Hmm.
So you're feeling the heat like we're feeling the heat.
Not as much. Is yours a dry heat down there or is it a hot heat?
Very dry.
Dry.
Very dry heat. Because our heat comes mainly from wind. So
Ah,
we get like it's probably 33 degrees, 35 degrees, but the wind from Central Australia really kicks us to 40, 41, whatever. So
bless
dry.
you. Hmm.
Yeah. So what
And
are we
how
talking
have
about today, Joe?
Well, we're going to talk about habits today and how to create good habits and how to break down goals and lots of things like that. Hmm.
Beautiful. Do you have many habits? Are you like a ritual person that you follow habits every week?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. What do you do, Joe? What are your habits every week?
Well, mine are more that I get up early in the morning mostly because that's where I need to have that silent time where I can meditate, especially Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. I see people, clients. So
Yeah.
I like to get a bit of a feel. So normally I'll do a meditation and the guides will drop in what I need to know for client 1 to 5. Sometimes I can see 5 people per day. Um, Only because when I'm in clinic, because we run the clinic and I kind of have to wear many hats whilst I'm there. So I feel
Yeah.
like I need to have that quiet time in the morning to do that.
Yeah.
But I like to get up. I've changed it a little bit this year because I need to look after my body a little bit more. So I get up about 5:30, and I'll do some meditation and then I'll do some weights. Don't really love that right now, but we'll learn to love it. And then and then I do a bit of pottery because I've got a pottery shop with my friends, and then I start my day. What about
Go
you?
you. Busy, busy, Joe. Busy, busy. I like to get up and I have habits. So I have things that I want to achieve during the day, but I don't lock them into certain time frames. So I've always got to do my half an hour walk. So today
Mhm.
I've already done it. I left here about 20 past 7 and I was out for my half an hour walk. And lots of people are out early this morning. But like
Mm.
yesterday, I did it at 6:30 at night. So it just depends on where can I fit that in throughout the day. I know I'm going to do it, but
Mhm.
when does it suit me best? So it's a more fluid thing.
Yes.
I do very strict with my food and my eating, particularly now with the back to the no sugars, no carbohydrates, all of that sort of stuff, because it makes my body feel really like a machine, a really efficient machine. So that's a habit that I really fixate on. The other
Mhm.
habit that I really have, and I do it every Monday. So it's like when I'm starting my work week, I set up with, I sage the rooms, or the room, because I
Mhm.
do it from home. I sage the
Yeah.
room, but then I put on a particular track by Wayne Dyer. It's the I Am meditation. And I actually play it twice. It's got
Mhm.
music through it, and there's tones through this noise of the sound. And it's a really, really cleansing sound. So that will go on before I see anybody. So I'll put the smudge, the incense, and then the Wayne Dyer music on. That takes about 40 minutes just to set the room up. And that's like opening up the room and opening up the space for the week. So that's something I must do. Otherwise, I'm not going to see clients. So that's a really strict habit that I have. And then by the end of the week, I'll just shut the room down. And when I finish with my last clients, then it's like, okay, it's just doing what it needs to do. And then that becomes just my meditation space. Strict habit that I do follow. Eating food is a really big habit of mine, but
Yes.
I've really had to up what I'm eating. It's no crap. I can't eat crap anymore. As I'm getting older, it gets harder. So I'll give you an example, Joe. We went to Newcastle for Christmas Eve. We were there, got back on the 28th of December. I weigh myself every day. That's a habit that I've gotten into. And people say, why do you weigh yourself? And when I was doing keto with the doctor, he said to us, weigh yourself every day, not for the weight aspect and how much you weigh and how much you've lost, whatever. Know what your body's doing with the food that you're eating. Know how it's processing the food. So you might eat something, but you might realize it sits in your body for 2 days. That way, you know what your body's doing. So that when you're weighing, you think, oh, hold on a minute. Last night I had a really big feed. It's going to sit there for a few days, and then you just watch it 2 days. It just drops. I did that. So before I left for Newcastle for New Year's, Christmas Eve, I was 71.6. When I got back, I was 74.9. That's a huge amount. It's 3.3 kilos in 4 days because I'd gone back to the sugars, the carbohydrates, and my body just saying to me, what are you doing, Charles? So very quickly, when we came back, I got into that habit again of back to no sugar, back to no carbs. And it's already dropped 2.3 kilos straight away. So it's a really interesting habit. So habits are really interesting, what you get into and how you form them.
Absolutely. I do something similar at work probably every morning when we've got like a little candle altar and we put Nag Champa on, and normally Elliot and I are only in the clinic, so that's when we would do I do it every day in the clinic because we've got 6 rooms running, and we want people to drop energy out of their body every day. So that's something that's like a non-negotiable thing we do at the clinic every day, which is really important for spiritual healing or just any type of, so everyone gets the best treatments that they do or want. So yeah, in terms of eating, that's something that I do need to fix this year. I don't generally eat bad, but I don't exercise. I'm never probably often in a calorie deficit.
Okay.
So I need
really interesting, Joe, that the doctor I subscribe to, and I've been on this keto journey now for 3 years, because that's a lot of crap. Calorie deficits. They say, you've got to burn more than you eat. It's like, it's what you're eating is the problem. So I like what you're saying. My exercise, I never used to exercise either. It was a crock.
Yeah.
And it was like, come on, Charles, you're getting older. You need to move more. So
Yeah.
I think last June or July, I got into the habit of, let's go,
Yes.
half an hour every day. And it's like a 4-kilometer walk I do in half an hour. And the time's consistent, but how I'm feeling is better when I'm doing the walk. So I remember when I got back from Newcastle on the 28th, 29th of December, I was heavy. I was like, oh my goodness gracious me, I was out of breath because I'm carrying extra 3-4 kilos. So now I've dropped it. It's like we can power through it. So yeah, watch the habits and form new ones this year, guys. So everybody start forming new habits. What do you want to be by the end of the year? And you can achieve it. As they say, Joe, I think is it 12 weeks to forming a new habit or something like that?
Well, they say 21 days, but I feel like because of everything that we've got in life right now, I think it can be put off track pretty quick. So I really do believe it's longer now than 21 days, just because we've got phones and we're distracted much more than we were in the 90s, for example.
Yeah. And I think that's really relevant too, Joe, because we have habits and we want to form new habits. But if we're on the phone, subscribe to people that are going to push you to follow your habits. Does that make sense? So if you want to go walking, follow people that are fitness people. Or if you want to do, like I do a lot of keto stuff, so I follow people that are keto chefs so that I'm looking at, what can I meal prep? What can I do? So I've told you what it's going to be hot today. I made coconut keto ice cream for tonight so I can have a scoop of coconut keto ice cream. So my habits are, if I'm going to snack, it may as well be a positive snack. It might as well be something that my body will receive well instead of just putting crap in. So use these phones as your motivation to follow people that want to keep you on your habits. And it could be, if you want to read more books, follow the people that give you book guidance so that okay, this was a great book. And if you're interested, it's going to help you push it and proceed longer with that. So there's lots of stuff that we can do for habits.
Absolutely. And I think it's also like we've got pretty big goals at Alchemy this year. And when you look at the whole big picture, it's like, holy moly, where do you start? And, but what we've done is that we've got the big goal and then we've broken it down like into very big, micro goals. So, one of the things we're waiting on our construction certificate, but, when I was talking to our town planner architect, he goes, oh, look, we can do the bathroom now because the bathroom isn't a part of that plan. And it wasn't compliant to being fully disabled access. Like we did have it, but technically the wheelchair circle turning thing wasn't enough. So we had to take out the shower cavity and make it all a bit different. So I was like, okay, well, we'll do that. So then whilst that was happening and we had 4 days that we shut the clinic down for public holidays and things, Elliot and I painted 3 rooms and we did all those things. So it's all but we've got it all broken down. So we've got it broken down to each room, what we want to upgrade in each room this year. But then out the back, there's 3 distinct areas, or 4 really, but we've got them all. Okay, so for the float room, what do we need to do? We need to do this, this, and this. So that way then, with our construction guy, Vince, so it's like, oh no, Vince, we'll just focus on just this room first, and we'll go room by room or area by area, just so then we can complete it well, not just have all half-assed things started, if that makes sense. So, and same with like weight loss, when I was talking to my lady who is going to help me, she was like, it's not the first 2 weeks, we're just getting you into better eating habits, not, she said, you can weigh yourself, but she said, it's just about you being more mindful about, you can have that, but if you do have it, you need to probably walk an hour. And I was like, oh. And it's also, I'm really bad at being other people centered and not myself centered.
So that you need to shift this year, Jo. You need to focus you, put you first, and then everything else falls into place for everybody else.
Yeah, that's why she said, jump up in the morning and do all the things that you need to do for yourself first, and then you can then be other people centered for the rest of the day. But she said, you've got to put your body first, because there's nothing wrong with my body, but I just, I'm ready for a famine. So if there's a famine, I'll live a long time. But
that's exactly right. We're going back to the old ways of eating. Like, we didn't always eat every day. We didn't always have food every day. So I hear you loud and clear, Jo, because I'm getting ready. One of my habits this year is every quarter, so every 3 months, I'm going to do a 3-day water fast. That just gets my body up to where it needs to be. And it's like a Control-Alt-Delete. It's a reset for my body.
Yes.
So it's a really good place to be. So that's one of the habits that I started last year that I really want to continue this year. So I like what you've said, small goals. So people that want to do stuff like fasting, start with 1 day. And sometimes when I know I've eaten too much, I'll fast for a day. But then I realize, okay, I need something bigger. So I'll go and do the 3 days. So I think you're really on point with what you said was, have the big goal, okay? You might want to say, I got 20 kilos I really want to lose, or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or I want to save $20,000. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you break it down. How can I save 500? Because then that comes down to 19,500. How can I save another 500? How can I save 500?
Yes.
This week I'm going to save 1,000. And you just chip away at the big goal so that you're doing little steps which are actually achievable. When you feel like you're achieving, you've got the motivation to keep going. Whereas if you just say, I got to find $20,000, you're going to go, how do I make that happen? It's not going to happen.
No.
And you just deflate yourself. So little steps. And it's one of the Oracle cards that I have. And it says you've got big goals, but break it down into little achievable steps so that you can make those achievements. And you might find, I'm getting there. Slow and steady wins the race to make that happen. And then what will happen is the longer it takes you to achieve it, you'll achieve it. But that becomes habitual as well.
And there's something... Yeah, even I put it in my book, if you waste $27.40 every day for 365 days a year, you'll waste $10,000.
Wow. See?
So it's the small steps. I talk about this all the time about, I very rarely buy coffees because, it's $6 and it's only $6. But if I did it 6 times a week, that's $36,
52 weeks.
Yeah. So I often think successful people just have very micro habits, but they do them regularly enough to form success. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're strict about it. Yes.
And something that I often do, I say this to myself every day. What have I done today for my bright future? Meaning I'm working on my today. Like, so if I was at work today, I would be ready in my room. I'd have all my towels ready. Everything would be ready to be present with my clients for that day. But in the morning or in the evening, I would have done something that's going to benefit me in the future. So what have I done today for my bright future? So that can be that some of the money, for example, that I've earned from seeing clients would be possibly to buy an investment property. So I used to do that all the time. I haven't done for a little bit because all my money is going to doing out the back at Alchemy. But I would do those things because often, particularly with girls, I don't know whether it's been programmed from ancestral or generational thing that girls don't often think ahead a lot. which is sad. And then you get 60-year-old ladies, they can't get a loan for a house, and they're in a really tight pickle now because they're in the rental rut. They didn't possibly have enough super because they had children and it wasn't a big thing as much as it is now. So a big thing that I love to talk to people about is, what have you done today for your bright future? So, even if you add 1% or 2% extra to your superannuation, that gets taken or deducted out of your super or your wage every week. For us, we weren't contributing really well to our super because we own our own business, but Elliot and I combined our supers and then we bought an investment property with it. Now, that property, thankfully, we bought it through the boom and it's doubled, so we're okay. But people don't think enough about what they're doing today or that month or that year for their future self. And I think that's important.
Yeah, and that's like the long-term goal. What do I want long-term? How do I break it down every day? And I hear loud and clear, and I think women have had a bad rap because women were always the home keepers, but it was an unpaid job, yet it's the most amazing job and it's the most rewarding job, but it's the most unpaid work. So women never got superannuation. So if anything was to happen to a relationship or something like that, they got left with nothing. So that's where women have to start looking at themselves. So that's where, for habits, we talk about habits. Okay, women, what can you put away for yourself? How do you do that? And whether you say, and I like what you say, Joe, because I used to add so much extra to my super. I used to say to my employees, take another 10% out of my pay and give it to the super. Salary sacrifice it. So it's pre-tax. So you're not going to notice any difference in your pay, but you're adding another 10% to your super all the time. And you can just watch it grow. These are little tips that you can use. And these are habit-forming tips on what you can do. And like, I know a lot of people at the moment, we've just had Christmas, right? A lot of people got given gifts that they might not have used or liked or wanted. So what they do is every year, so this is their habit, they will pop them on eBay. Whatever they don't like, they pop it on eBay and then they sell it. So if you're thinking that way and you can reverse that, you say to people, you know what, it's probably not best us giving gifts. Let's just have a dinner together. So the money that we might have spent on gifts, keep it as a dinner. And then the new habit becomes we have an annual dinner, a get together where we can connect. So it's all about what you've got, what works for you, what's not working for you in a habit way. Do you know what I mean? I used to snack. One of my bad habits was if I was bored, I'd snack. I'd want to eat. And I changed it. I haven't changed the habit, but what I changed was what I'm snacking on.
Yeah.
So it used to be biscuit, chocolate biscuit, whatever. Now I'll go and get a piece of celery and put some peanut butter on it. Because for my keto lifestyle, the celery's got, not many carbs, but the peanut butter's got the fats, and the fats satiate me. So then if I have something small like this big, I'm full until the mealtime comes. And it's just like, that's filled me. Let's go with that. Do you know what I mean? So habits can be adapted. They don't always have to be negative. And if it is a negative, work out, okay, I want to keep that habit, or don't want to keep it, but I need to transform out of it. How can I change it in a way so in the short term, it's more beneficial for me until I can actually work my way out of that and change that habit. So
absolutely,
it's really interesting.
Oh yeah, even with one of the ladies I was seeing this week, she's very social, and I was like, well, and she really wants to buy a house, but she said, but I probably go out for dinner or a meal occasion 3 or 4 times a week with my friends. And I said, wow, that could add up. She goes, yeah, it does. Anyway, and I said, well, could you think you could change it? Because some of your friends are probably in the same position as you that they want to add things. And she's like, yeah. So I said, well, why don't you change it to catching up but having a walking date, like, where you'll go for a walk? Or I said, or catch up at a park, but everyone brings a plate. So
that's exactly right. You're still doing it in a different way, because you're right. Things are changing in the world all the time, and what we have to do as people is adapt. So our habits have to change the whole time we're having a habit. So like this year, 2026, Sean and I have created new habits. So on the first week of the month, we went and washed our cars, because sometimes our cars just sit there and they never get loved. So we're going to do every first week of the month, the car's going to go and get love, whether it just needs a quick wash or a full detail, whatever that might be, it's going to get love. And the garden, we've been giving a lot of love to the garden, but what somebody said to me, Charles, instead of spending 2 hours consistently on a weekend in the garden, go and spend, 10 or 15 minutes every day in the
Yeah.
garden, because you'll still achieve the same amount of stuff, but it's a lot less burdensome. You can think, oh, 10 minutes, I can do that. 15 minutes, yeah, easy peasy. Go and pull out weeds for 15 minutes. Whereas if I've got to go and sit out there for 2 hours and pull out weeds, it becomes problematic, and it's like, I'm not going to do it. But if I can do, see, big goals, little steps. If I can
Yes.
do a 10-minute a day, then the garden feels good. And then every 10 minutes, I can just maintain that every week. The
Yes.
garden looks good. I'm feeling good looking at it, and I can maintain it. It's not bothersome. So the habit needs to change. Instead of waiting for it to get overrun, give it 10 minutes every day and see what you can change. And then
Absolutely.
it's going to make your life easier. This is what people don't realize. They wait for the problem to appear instead of addressing it systematically before it becomes a problem. Does that make
Yes.
sense? So change the way you think, guys. Change the habit so that I can achieve something and maintain something so that it's not problematic.
Yes, absolutely. And that can be with anything. If you're a bit of a hoarder and you find clutter overwhelming, like I've got a few clients like that, and I go, you're looking at the whole house and you don't want to do that. Just look at whether it's daily or every couple of days, just clean off a surface. But when you're cleaning off the surface, don't just move it to another. Like what's on there has to have its home. So you have to put it back in that drawer and it stays there, or you have a box and you chuck it out if it's not serving you anymore. If it's broken, if you don't really love the thing that you've got that you're using. I said it's all about, for the fire horse, if you can run, and because the fire horse is the running one for February, if you can run with having everything working well in your house, you're going to be more abundant and more productive. So yeah, so getting back to the clutter, it's like you said, it's just 10 to 15 minutes a day. And you know what? Sometimes, if you're going somewhere and then you've gotten ready too early and you go, I've just got 15 minutes, I'll just quickly do something. It's amazing how much you can do in that 15 minutes.
It really is. Clean out a kitchen cupboard, clean out a shelf on the pantry, or straighten things up, give something a quick dust, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You can actually achieve something. It's like one less thing I've got to do tomorrow.
Yeah. And even like in our clinic, we're rather busy on the desk. And so sometimes things can get a bit out of control. So I've got like a whole list of things that I've got now that I've just got to print off for work. And they're only like 15-minute jobs. So it could be wipe the whole reception desk down, tick. And what I say to Kate, myself and Elliot is we don't have to do the whole thing every day, like, in one day. It's just like, get the duster out and dust to make sure there's no cobwebs on the roof. So it's just little things. I think the key to success is just, focusing on the small things, but doing them regularly, like you just suggested with the gardening, which is really good.
Yeah.
I
think what you've just suggested is good too. Checklists are great.
Yes.
Where I used to work, I used to have a checklist. Actually, at Qantas, I set up a checklist every day. Is this done? Is this done? Is this done? Is this done? So you could try and do it. Depending on how busy it was, you could achieve, 80%. It's like, great. Yeah. And if you didn't, you pick it up the next day. And I think lists are great so that there's a constant reminder that this needs attention. I've got 10 minutes. Let me give that the attention it needs. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's very special.
And the other thing also with this year, I feel like the energy that's coming in is it's like do the things or make them so. Firstly, you've got gratitude. I was reading something the other day and then I saw it again this morning about, we take for granted little things like having a shower in hot water. That's only been invented 50 or 100 years ago. But we jump in and we're so busy thinking about other stuff that we're not even grateful for how good is it to have hot water.
Yeah.
In some
of the switch, having electricity.
Yes. So I think sometimes it's also in January is a good time to get in check with turning around things to be grateful for. When I go to the toilet, I always thank God for putting me in a country with flushing toilets, because when I've traveled to other countries that have drop toilets and things, I'm like mortified. Holy moly. Like that's just way out of my comfort zone. So I just think we get a bit complacent. So sometimes with vibrations, if we can run with the gratitude, then we're we're not in lack. So therefore it's easier to attract goodness to us. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So I think there's also
So
with having a successful year, it's about gratitude as well.
So making gratitude a daily habit, being
Yeah.
grateful for things every day
Yes.
that, I've got those things. So being grateful every day should be a habit you start the day with or possibly finish your day with. So,
Yeah.
and that's like the journaling. I've started my journaling, Joe. I've started.
Perfect.
I was a few days late, but I've started. I got my book,
Yeah.
and I'm writing. Oh, I'm writing every day, except I usually write after I do my walk. So there's day one. Look, there's words there, and this
Bless
is I've
you.
only done 2 days. Yeah, and there's days two. You can't see it, but there's stuff there, and it's just like, okay, I'm just writing what I feel every day. Whatever wants to come out. So that's a new habit that I've formed this year. Is to put the pen to the paper and just see what wants to come and see what we can create that way.
I journal after I meditate every morning. So, Elliot goes the other day, because I've been doing it for like 10, 12 years. Elliot goes, maybe we could get rid of some of these boxes of journals. I was like, oh, no. Like, because we live in a rainforest, so the chances of a bushfire at some point is high. And I go to Elliot, that would be some of the things that would go in my car. Like, that's important to me. And Elliot's like, holy. He goes, well, we probably need to move them to work and put them in the storage where we've got all the stationary stuff. And I was like, no, they need to stay with me. Like, so anyway, but everyone has a different, because sometimes guides can channel something through for me, and then I'll go, I think that was in 2023. So then I'll go back and have a look at them to see,
what came through.
Yes. So, so everyone's different, but to be successful, it's small things every day.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Start forming your habits. And if you realize you've got negative habits, because I don't want to call them bad habits, but if you've got negative habits, start catching yourself when you're doing it. It's like, how can I adapt this? How can I change this to start it's on a decline so that I can remove this habit from my existence? Or how can I change it so that if it's a negative thing, like if I always want to go and have a sleep, instead of going for a sleep, go for a 30-minute walk. Give you that energy again, give you that burst. Or like me, if I was having a chocolate biscuit, no, go and change it for a cherry tomato or a piece of celery with some peanut butter. Work out what your negative traits are, work out what your bad habits are, and start to work out, what am I doing? If it's sleeping in all the time, okay, start putting your alarm clock on a little bit earlier every day until you get used to it becoming an hour and a half earlier. That'll start changing it for you. Or if you go to bed late, but you're not getting enough sleep, you're waking up tired or cranky. Okay, start moving your sleep time or your bedtime. Start moving it back 15 minutes every day so that your body's getting used to it coming back to a little bit early. So you're just getting a little bit more sleep. So play with your habits, look at them, understand them, and then work out what's in my highest good to have, what's not in my highest good to have, how can I change it?
Yes. And sleep is such a good thing about how you can get your habits. I hate wasting time. So that's why I like getting up early and going to bed early, because that way, if I do stay up late, I'm just watching crappy telly or scrolling on my phone. And it's a waste of my time for me. Or for me, I feel that like,
it's not creative. It's not allowing you to be creative. It's just that. So, what you're doing is, I go to bed early, get up in the morning, I can meditate, clean the office, get ready, do stuff so that you're feeling like I'm using my time more in a beneficial way than just doom scrolling my day.
Yeah. So it's just, and that's the other thing when people, I've encountered a lot this year where people so far is, they're envious of others, but they don't realize what those people are doing to get that success. And, the other day I said to a lady, that person would be doing this, 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 and this, and this to achieve that. Where are you up to on this? And she was like, I'm nowhere near that. I'm just comparing myself to others, but that's all I'm doing. And it was such a great realization for her, because I said, these successful people, it's not that they don't care about others, but they're so focused on their thing. They've got their blinkers on and they're not worried about anyone else. So I think it's something to consider with your habits of like, look at them to figure out what they're doing in a positive way to go, oh, look at that. Like, do they have podcast, or they have something about what they're doing to get that success. But
Yes,
you don't want to sit there and get envious and then chuck the towel in. Does that make sense?
of course. Stay in your lane, but always look at what's everybody else doing and other aspects of that I might be able to incorporate into my work, or how does it look for me, or that's just them. Good luck to them, but it's not going to work for me. Stay in your lane, do what you need to do, but look at what other people are doing for ideas and suggestions to help you move forward.
Absolutely.
Everybody's at a different stage in their life, but if you stay in your lane, but you always have your, what is everybody else doing? It gives you motivation to do other things. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. And just one more thing. I think where, back in the 90s or the early 2000s, resources to be successful were a bit hard to come by. You had to buy a package and you would have got like a tape set or a CD set in the mail. And it was really hard to figure out what people were doing to be successful, especially on social media or, various different jobs. Now, and it's like parenting, our parents were pretty, I don't want to label every parent in our era crap, but the chances of the reason why they were a bit crap was because there was hardly any resources for them to be good parents. But now with resources on the internet, there's sort of no reason why parents can be crap, because there's a billion different social media people to show you how to help with if you've got an oppositional defiance kid, or, you can go on YouTube and watch things. So I think there's no reason for anyone not to be successful, because there's so many free resources you can get now, as opposed to, 20 years ago. So I just think
different.
Very different. So, in some aspects it's a bit disadvantaged because we don't talk to as many people as we used to, because we can just look online. But I just think we've got no excuses to not be successful in what we're wanting in any area of our lives. It's just, but look at it as how to help myself, but not look at it to be envious and then get overwhelmed with it. If that helps.
Okay, good. Right, now, classes, Jo. You got classes coming up?
Yes, I have got a Reiki class in February, and I've got an inner child class in March. If you'd like to access information about that, if you go to my joanneplater.com.au website, you can have a look there for those. Anyone who's in Bellingen, this Saturday, 5 till 7, we are having a little meditative pottery class at the pottery shop. So that's pretty exciting. We've still got a couple of spots left. So, and if you wanted to do that one, that would be Bellingen Potters Collective.com.au, and then you could go on there and purchase a ticket if you'd like to do that. What about you, lovely Charles?
Yes, I've just put it up yesterday. I've got a beginner's tarot class on Saturday, the 28th of February. So it's a one-day class. You bring your cards. I provide morning tea, afternoon tea, and lunch. And we just play with the cards, and you get to learn them. You get to build a relationship with your cards, because that's the key to tarot. So Saturday, the 28th of February, 2026, and we are going to do that in Atwood, Melbourne. So if you're interested, DM me on my Instagram page, or DM us here at the Charles and Jo Show, and I can give you the details there.
Perfect. I'd come if I was closer.
God love you. All right, guys, have a great week. Thank you for time. Thank you for your tuning in with us, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And then we look forward to seeing you next week for more.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Have a great week, Jo.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.